Hello everybody, this is Waldorf,
This is Statler.
and now we have Battle Report 228,
228.
which is Game 5 of Battle Cry.
The last game. Where are you at this point on the table?
Pretty low.
Pretty low. You've got 2 wins, two bad losses, and
not one win to match one of the losses, but less 2 points. I'm down 2 points from average.
Okay, so you're down 2.
I'm down 2.
Okay.
And now we're going into the 5th game, and my reward for losing to Undying Dynasties is I get to face
More dwarves.
more dwarves.
Okay.
And this is an ETC player of dwarves, so got that going for me. There's my list, and here's his. He has a king who's a general. He's got a hold stone, a shield, a rune of destruction, smashing and fury. And he's got a rune of iron and 2 of shielding. It's all just bad. Destruction is the one that gives you strength 10 if they're tough 5 or better, or resilience 5 or better.
Yeah.
And but that's smashing.
Yeah.
Destruction is the D3 wounds.
D3 wounds. Yeah.
So anyway, then he's got a BSB. Seemed to look a lot like the other guy.
Yes.
3 runes of lightning, except he also has a rune of dragon's breath.
Why not?
He has got a runic smith with 3 battle runes, the rune of devouring to get rid of one of my spells, and he's got grounding and harnessing, which means something.
I'm sure it does.
He does have an engineer with a guild-crafted handgun, and he's got an anvil.
Okay.
He's got 28 graybeards with shields, full command, and a flaming standard. Trolls are loving that look. 20 clan marksmen with shields and a musician. 19 rangers with shields and crossbows. 10 miners with throwing weapons and shields. 2 steam copters, a rune-crafted catapult, and a rune-crafted organ gun.
Well, at least he doesn't have a flame cannon.
He doesn't. But 20 graybeards with a flaming standard is worse.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway, so moving on. We're going to be playing Frontline Clash and Breakthrough. So this is after I deployed first. I was kind of expecting him to deploy over here. And he deployed to the far right, far left.
All right, so he's castling in the corner.
So he's castling in the corner, somewhat. So there's a fence here, impassable forest, ruin up top, hill up top right, another fence over on the right, impassable statue of Gork, it's fortunate for me, and a water feature. And in case you're wondering, I just decided I was okay with taking some dangerous terrain checks on my first march move.
Okay.
I'm not sure why I was okay with that, but apparently I was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's...
You set first?
I set up first. This unit of Wolf Riders actually set up right here.
Mm-hmm.
And this one set up right here in this hole.
Okay.
Again, I kind of expected him, because ruins are so rough, I kind of expected him to set up around this ruins in the hill.
Uh-huh.
He surprised me by going over here.
Yeah, we saw where you were, so.
Yeah, and he saw where I was, so anyway. So the only other thing that actually did kind of work, he deployed his unit of scouting. If you look at the, let's back up one, where I deployed, like I said, this Wolf Rider unit was deployed here, about 24 inches from the edge of the board.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's got scouts.
Right.
So anyway. So he deployed the unit of scouts over here in the back corner, facing inwards. So I deployed everything because I want to go first. So we go first, and we just push.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody pushes forward, and if you notice, the slower moving is towards the center, and they get faster as they go out.
Yeah.
Except for the boar boys, of course, who kind of have to stay in the center to keep the stuff in. Anyway, so we come forward. The Wolf Riders here don't bother coming forward. They stay in the cover because they weren't in anybody's way, and there's no reason to go out there and give them easy shots at them.
Yep.
So we move forward, and that's it. Look at his units. What did we do? Anything? I cast. Okay, I didn't take a picture. I cast. What's it called? The Howl, the Chilling Howl.
Chilling Howl, okay.
Cast Chilling Howl on this unit, because they're within 6 of everything.
Okay.
To give him -1 to shoot. He said, sure, go ahead and do it. I'll let it go through. And then he drops down his destruction and kills the Chilling Howl spell.
Yep.
Then his spell setup is both the anvil and the guy, the runesmith, both have the runes of revocation, where they can lift a spell that's on you. They both have the -1 to be wounded, and they both have hard target distracting. So he's doubled up on all 3.
Yeah.
So no matter what, he's going to get stuff off. So he manages to get the rune of revocation off, and the Chilling Howl even comes off in the first turn. Doesn't even get, it's 1 turn of effect. Have I mentioned how good the rune of revocation is?
It is good.
Anyway, so he shoots. He sits back where he is, doesn't do much, but he just starts shooting me up. I actually made a mistake here. This is the new rules for cover.
You were poking
that
out
changed.
of the woods.
My flank was exposed to him, even though more than 90% of my unit was in the woods.
Right.
My flank was not. So he did not. The first one that shot at me didn't take a penalty. I killed the. It only killed one.
This is one of his gyrocopters.
Yeah, one of his gyrocopters shot at me. I luckily only killed one.
Yeah.
Killed that one. Now I'm back in the cover, which saved me from getting completely destroyed. There's one of my new trees. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like that? Anyway. And they shoot up my boar riders as well. So back to my turn. My turn 2. The 2 wolf riders that were here in the woods that got shot up move out, and that's as far as they can get. 18 from here. They come up and provide a screen from the organ gun. The other wolf riders come around the edge of the ruin and try to provide another screen from our boar boys. He shot 3 off with his catapult last turn. And then my spider, my trolls, my boar boys, and my orcs all come storming forward. Everyone gets fully in the woods this time, covers their flanks. Anyway, learn that trick. And that's where we're going to end my turn. I get this is the break the spirit for -1 to hit.
Okay.
So, anyway. Got that. And back to his turn. So back to his turn. The one gyrocopter comes up and takes the place of where the first one was. That one comes over and hops into the front of the wolf riders just to cause him a hassle. He gets off the rune that's hard target and distracting. And this one, he gets off the -1 to be wounded. Because he was concentrating on these and I wasn't worried about him, I was able to keep the break the spirit on the rune, the organ gun.
Okay.
So he's -1 to hit with it, but he just cancels out the engineer basically.
Right.
So that's what he's got there. Going into my turn. I mean, that's going into and that's after shooting. He shot off the boar boy, killed a few more of these guys.
The small wolf rider unit's gone.
Yeah, and I think something shot off these guys. I'm not sure
catapult
what killed
or something.
two.
Looks like you lost a cavalryman or not.
3, 6, 9. I've lost 3 so far.
3. Okay.
I don't know when, but I've lost 3 so far. So anyway, so that's where it ends. So we go into top of turn 3. Top of turn 3, the wolf riders stayed where they were, or did not charge. These guys who were back here in the woods charged out into the flank of the steam copter. The 2 guys left here charged into this one.
Okay.
I'm not expecting much. These guys are -1 to wound. These guys are -1 to hit. So they're hitting on 5s. They're wounding on 5s. So anyway, the wolf riders that were out here make their march check and come over here to chaff up the big deep watch.
Right.
I do get a totemic summons.
There you go.
And I got the big one. So he comes up forward to here.
Okay.
10 inches away from the edge, facing, facing doesn't really matter, but comes up there. The 2 wolf riders that were out here just move sideways and get closer to the organ gun. And everything else comes forward. Boar boys come forward, and I've shifted around characters. So I've got a character on the far end, a character in the near end. So whatever happens to Chaff, he probably is not going to be able to chaff them both.
Okay.
Is what I'm looking at. And of course, everybody else comes forward. So combat ensues. We don't do any wounds to this. It kills, the two. I didn't do any wounds to this one either, and he killed one of me.
Okay. Turn to face.
But turns to face. He sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Turns to face. Back to his turn. He starts moving out of this corner. And this is what this is the one good thing I did in this game, in my opinion, was giving him this space over here. Mm-hmm. And he bit it and took it. Because had these 19 shots been in this battle line, I'm in even bigger trouble than what I am. Yeah. So anyway. Mm-hmm. So moving forward.
He's got some miners coming up behind you now.
He's got the miners that came in back here, and they're marching up behind me. So over here, he of course kills the 5 Wolf Riders. Elects not to overrun, just sits there.
Right.
And then on his next turn, brings the gyrocopter up here to chaff the ferals.
And keeps fighting your Nashers.
Makes a march tech with his engineer. And annoys me, and runs way out here.
Okay.
Because he can march 12.
Right.
He's very fast. Comes out here. Shoots at the troll, but only puts shoots at the totemic summons, but only puts a single wound on it.
And he moved his organ gun?
And he moved his organ gun out from here because he's trying to limit what can get to it because of the Wolf Riders.
Okay.
Which is, was a good ploy. So anyway. So looking at the situation, what ends up happening is the general charged out into the organ gun.
Right.
Looking for an overrun. And these guys
reformed.
And that's why I only did 1 wound to the totemic summons, because he was taking a -2 penalty from the reform. So anyway, so the general the spider charged first and charged the engineer. The engineer fled through all this and ended up back here.
Okay.
The general charged out of the unit in the organ gun with an overrun set up for the handgunners. The mage and the BSB are both within 12, so they're not worried about getting shot. He's got no missile spells, so they leave the unit and come out here.
Okay.
Ready to the BSB can still see both these units and the engineer. This guy can see everything.
Right.
And the unit just moves forward to get as far out of this unit's arc as possible. The trolls squeeze into face here. This is looking at it later. It's stupid. They needed to be an inch further to the right. To the top of the board. Right now, they can't get past those. I don't know what I was thinking at all there.
Did you lose one, or is that?
No, I didn't have, my other troll was in my box, and I couldn't for my totemic summons.
Okay.
And I'm looking around, I can't find it, and I'm like, I need a totemic summons. Let me go get one. He says, no, let's just do this.
Yeah.
And he drops his dice thing back to mark the spot that there's a troll there. Anyway, dumb, because these trolls, like I said, need to be an inch down, so they don't have a problem getting into this. Right now, they can't get past it, and they can't charge it.
Okay, looks like you charged his gyrocopter, he fled, and you got stuck on your own guys.
Yeah, charge the gyrocopter stuff, which I'm fine with. I'd also break the spirit off on his big unit.
Okay.
So if it wants to charge, it's going to take some abuse.
And your totemic summons blundered into his...
Totemic summon blunders into this, did 2 wounds to it, I think, and he did 1 back to me.
Okay.
Plus when he saw. I also got lucky on my magic phase, and another totemic summon shows up. He's in a position here, that way he can come this way, come this way, come this way. He's got plenty of choices.
Didn't use his breath weapon.
No, I'm going to save it for combat.
For combat.
Because I don't think I can make anything that do anything that matters with it.
Okay.
So there you have that. And... Oh, sorry. The general how did the general only get here? This thing held for a turn.
You didn't kill it.
I did not kill it. And it's stubborn.
Right.
That was unfortunate. I think I did 4 wounds to it and left it with 1. It fights back and kills a wolf rider.
I didn't realize wolf riders charged in also.
They had to get out of the way.
Okay.
Of something else, because they were trying to get out of the way of everything.
Okay.
Because of the way he plays stuff, it actually caused me quite a problem.
Yeah.
because the moving this up here and moving his engineer out there made the Wolf Riders charge this
Right.
to have any chance at all of getting anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what we got there. This turn he does not he turns, and now he's facing. He's changed his formation, and now he's facing this way.
Okay.
He elected not to charge because of the break the spirit, and he's still doing fine because he sees what I don't. The fact that the trolls can't do anything.
And the other guys just marched up.
And these guys
What's going on here?
elect not to shoot and just march towards.
So they are facing that way.
Yeah,
okay.
They're facing this way. They moved as far as they could forward.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that on his turn, and on his turn I should have finished off the organ gun right there, as you can see. So now we're going on to turn 5 of me.
I assume his Roomsmith rallied.
His Runesmith rallied and is sitting right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Second round of combat, he killed the totemic summons.
Okay.
But he's got 2 wounds left, I believe.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is what it looks like going into my turn 5. First thing
you get rid of the gyrocopter.
Yeah, they finally killed the gyrocopter off, which again doesn't help me because these are still trapped.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Well, depends how things go.
But anyway. So turn 5. So the first thing I do, I'm trying to think of which charge I did first. First charge I did was the general into the back of this unit.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, well, I had enough of that. We're not taking that because I know what's coming." So they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I mistake. I did that. I think I did it wrong. First thing I did was charge the Nashers into their flank.
Okay.
And he stood for that. Then I charged the general into the rear. And once I did that and he stood, I should have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
But I charged the general into his rear and he fled.
Mm-hmm.
And when he fled from that, he ended up all the way back here.
Okay. So
because he bounced through all this and ended up right here. There's this little gap here that the Wolf Rider could see him through.
Oh.
So, and they were 19 or something away.
Mm-hmm.
So the Wolf Rider declares the charge, and they bounce through the gyrocopter and off the board.
Oh, okay.
So it worked out okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still would have been better with just them in the flank and then everyone else maneuvering, because that would have kept this unit locked down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the general redirects into... what did he redirect? General redirected into the anvil and failed to make it.
Okay.
The BSB and the mage went at the catapult. And the unit swung around. The trolls come forward.
Went into
into the engineer.
Redirected the engineer. Okay.
Redirected the engineer. I'm not sure why I chose the engineer.
Yeah.
And then that was that.
Okay.
Everybody else switched around. The spider turned around and started heading this way, but it's turn 5.
Yeah. Just keep him honest.
Well, he's not coming out of the deployment zone because that's the objective, so he won't leave it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got that, and where did the totemic summons? Why isn't it going anywhere yet?
Don't know.
Because we haven't done this fight yet either. There we go. So the totemic summons, I swapped him out with the real one.
Okay.
Comes forward and...
Misses it by that much.
Did he miss it? Maybe he did. These guys clean up the catapult, and the Wolf Rider just elects to run off the board.
Oh, killed the
engineer.
Wow.
Somebody came with the engineer. Somebody came with him to kill the engineer. I think it was the BSB.
Well, he was with the catapult, so...
No, somebody came with him. Maybe it was the other guy. You know what? I think it was the...
Other totemic summons?
I think it was the totemic summons.
Okay.
Went in with him, and this is a new totemic summons.
Yeah, okay.
The third one, which is crazy in itself.
Okay.
So, anyway, left him there, and then we go back to his turn. There's the gyrocopter he had to bounce through. Remember, he ran to here and then bounced through.
Right.
So it's back to here. So in this turn, he's going to charge the Nashers. He charges the Nashers, smashes the Nashers, and because he can overlap, by a quarter, he comes forward and hits the trolls in the flank.
He was able to
because he hits them before he reaches the ferals.
Okay.
So he ends up into the flank of the trolls, and that's what you see here. Because he's come forward, smashed them, and got into the flank of the trolls.
Okay.
So this is an overrun, so he can't fight it this turn.
Right.
So now we're going to top of turn 6.
Yep.
Top of turn 6. That's what it looks like. The general can't see the fight, so he's going to go over here at the anvil.
Okay.
The BSB sees this fight plain as day and wants no part of it, so he's going to go over here at the anvil, and the mage is going to stay out of it.
What happened to your guys?
What guys?
Didn't you have more of these?
More of which?
The
ferals? They've been taking. They took a catapult shot and lost some guys last turn. Before the round before it went into combat?
Okay, I thought.
No.
The previous turn you had more of them. Okay.
No, they've been there.
All right.
So the ferals decide. They've charged in the flank of these. So the ferals decide to support them and charge of the rear.
Okay.
On top of turn 6, there we go. The ferals charge into the rear. If you don't recall, the Deep Watch have the flaming banner.
Yes.
So, and they also have a hold stone.
Yeah.
So they drop the hold stone, abuse the trolls. The kills only 3 ferals, but they break and run because of the huge amount of damage he's done to the trolls.
Yeah.
Even with Break the Spirit on him, didn't matter. And then with Break the Spirit on him, so he charges, he pursues the Wolf Riders and ferals and does not catch them.
Okay.
Over here, the character and the general failed to make it to the anvil.
Okay.
But the BSB did, and him and the totemic summons polished it.
All right.
So he pursues me, loses a few to the dangerous terrain, and is sitting there for the bottom of 6. Bottom of 6, I'm fleeing. So the bottom of 6, he charges me, I flee, he moves forward, catches me, takes a huge number of wounds from the terrain and the double terrain on the
Okay. Oh, you
Break the
Spirit. Spirit on him. Okay.
And then tries to reform into the deployment zone, but ends up being 13 inches away.
That counts as a combat reform, doesn't it?
Well, combat reform, if it did, that would be perfect, and he could have done this. Or no, he couldn't have done this. Never mind. Right. So we talked about, we figured it out later that it would. He didn't make it into the deployment zone, so it didn't matter. But it turns out he thought it was a combat reform. Well, so he thought it was not a combat reform. Therefore, because if you do it with a combat reform, you don't count as scoring. He did not think it was a combat reform.
I see.
So he thought he could do this. After the game was over, everything else, I checked it, and it turns out it is not a combat reform.
Really? Okay.
But it's a pivot you're allowed, not a reform.
Right.
If you catch a fleeing, you're only allowed a pivot.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course, yes.
So so it wouldn't have mattered one way or the other.
Right.
The other thing I found out later, which he actually told me later, says, "Oh, I apologize. I did something wrong." Again, table 5, rushing on the last turn didn't really matter. But he dropped the hold stone. After this turn, he cannot pursue me.
Right.
So that would have changed everything as well. So anyway.
Yeah,
So basically it would have meant I would have preserved half of this unit because they would have been fleeing at the end of the game anyway.
Yeah.
So I would have preserved another 380 points. And he would have preserved half of this unit because he got below a quarter from all the dangerous terrain shenanigans.
Yeah.
So it ended up being kind of a push anyway.
Right.
As far as the results of the mistakes. But anyway, that's what it was. And the trolls, I still kept half the trolls because there are 2 left out of 7, which is not a quarter. They are fleeing, but it's 2 left out of 7.
Yep.
The only other thing that he did was the gyrocopter. You can see the base of it here. The gyrocopter made its march test, of course, flies down here, fires its shots, and all of them wound and put 3 wounds onto my mage and killed him.
Oh, wow.
On the last turn. So that was a 420 point.
That's a big
420 point bonus, which is a point.
Yeah.
The way it turns out, and you can see my boar boys, I forgot to mention, at some point marched into this deployment zone.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that were hanging back here. So it turns out I've got 2 units in his deployment zone. He's got 2 in mine.
Right.
This one and these the other guys that are over here, miners. So it ends up the objective being to push.
Wow.
Points are what, 100 and almost 200 apart.
Yep.
So it's a draw.
Didn't look that close.
It's a 10-10 draw. I killed a ton of points worth of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, all those war machines are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And the handgunners, of course. And
you had all your characters.
And all my characters survived this game.
Yeah.
So moving forward, mistakes. Because this is my new thing. I like to do this. End of turn 2. This is where we are at the end of turn 2. So here's the first mistake I think I made in this game. Seeing all this, how we're set up here, I should have realized at this point that this spider is not getting into a combat. Well, not necessarily spider. Something over here is not going to get into a combat.
Unless he comes forward.
Which he's not going to do.
He has no reason to do.
So at the start of turn 3, after these 2 move forward, the spider should have immediately turned and come this way.
Yeah, I'd agree
At the beginning of turn 3. So that is my first mistake, because he could have easily come over here, stomped this unit, and the objective's mine.
Right.
Easily. So, bad mistake. This is what it looks like at the end of turn 5. He's got the hold stone, and I know what he's going to do to this unit. There's no reason for me to go into the back of it.
Charge that.
Correct. The only possible reason to have charged this was to keep him from overrunning into my general. So, anyway, one way or another, they should not. I don't think they should have gone in.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
So, this, again, that was another mistake. So, those are my mistakes as far as this game is concerned, as far as I saw from what I did. But again, the worst one, I think, was the spider. I should have seen the way this was shaping out and known my spider is not going to get into that fight. And then, again, like I said, at this point, he's got turn 3 to get to here, 4 to get right on him, and 5 to make sure they can't get away, and to kill him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, meanwhile, I'm eating crossbow bolts from him that are wounding me on 6s.
Yeah, maybe there's some different choices on his shooting.
But anyway, just that's my opinion. But anyway, so it was a 10-10 at the end, which I feel okay about, because I was facing a gunline dwarf that was
in the corner,
packed in a corner, and and he's a good player.
Yeah.
So, and I really like his rune setup. I mean, his magic rune setup.
Oh, they got great magic.
Rune of Revocation is incredibly good.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, not only does it remove an in-play spell, all the in-play spells, but makes the next one cast on that unit, it lasts 1 turn.
Yeah.
It protects it for a turn about getting it recast on it.
Right.
So, again, a really good spell. But anyway, so I vanquished 1 unit of dwarf, 1 army of dwarves, and I fought this one to a standstill, I guess.
So you had 2 wins, 2 losses,
and a draw.
A draw, but you ended up being down 2 points.
I did.
From the average. Okay.
Yeah. So
where'd you end up in the tournament?
21.
Okay. Out of
36.
Okay.
Not good. Right below the half.
Yeah.
I mean, 18's a halfway point.
Right.
Finished in kind of right below that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not thrilled, but it's what it was. All right. That's going to do it. Thanks for listening.
Till next time.